Hello, all. This is another installment in the conversation that we're having around mental health wellness and the COVID-19 pandemic that's affecting all of our organizations in the world. I have with me today Steven Patterson. Steven is the training and development lead for Populous, an organization based here in Kansas City that many of you are familiar with. And Steven's been in the training and development space for over 20 years. And so very close with the employee population, very plugged in with organizations' culture and the impact that that has on learning as well as productivity with the team. So Steven and I met last year, and he's got some great ideas and some things that I think are going to be helpful for other organizations as they manage through this pandemic. So Steven, thank you for taking the time today.
Sure, you're welcome, Ken. Thanks for asking me.
You bet, you bet. So we're just going to run through the three questions that I have and get some thoughts. So maybe you can set the stage a little bit for Populous as an organization and just how this crisis has affected the day-to-day routine and activities of your workforce.
So I'd say the biggest changes that I've seen immediately was a rapid response by our employees to lean into working in a different way. And not only that, but leadership and employees have noted through this process, which now we're 2.5 weeks in, something like that, an increase in communication, targeted, more focused discussions, and an increase in creativity related to just how they're going about their work and at the same time trying to continue to support our rich culture. So those are the big key things that they've noted through my conversations over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it seems like we're starting to see the good things that are coming from this. You mentioned creativity, you mentioned people being able to operate in a different environment. It's encouraging to see that. I had somebody the other day said, I've been trying to get people to do video conferences for years, and now it's necessity. People are automatically making it happen. So.
Yeah, and before I think the sentiment was that it couldn't be done, or that I don't want to go camera on because I may not be ready, and all the things, all the excuses that come up, and those have gone by the wayside, and it's been great. Just last week we had an all-staff town hall, and we had 365 people dialed in, all camera on.
Wow.
I would say a good 85% camera on, and that's incredible. From I can't, I won't, I don't know how to having it happen.
Yeah, that's great. So then tell me, it seems like the first place people go when we talk about mental health wellness is to the employee assistance program. That's kind of the table stakes they gotta have. Tell me the role that that's played in providing resources to your employees in this time of uncertainty.
Yeah, we've had those questions come up, and I know that our leadership has done a very good job, HR and leadership, of consistently reminding people of that benefit and encouraging them to take advantage of it, that if they need that, it's there for them. That's why we have it. And a bit of an overview of what it is again. And we've had 2 town halls now, and in both of them, that has been a key thing. At some point throughout it, that and the importance of it. So I think that's great. I do know that our director of HR and myself and just our team are making sure that we're reaching out to people on, in some cases, an individual basis for those impromptu, very organic water cooler talks or whatever. It's not quite as organic because we're having to connect purposefully. Nonetheless, it's another opportunity to connect human to human and to not necessarily talk about work. And we're also not playing the role of counselors, since we do have an EAP benefit of that. It's more just that human connection to check in with people and to have some more frequent contact than we might otherwise have in this situation.
Tell me what your leadership is doing to help manage some of that anxiety.
Sure. It's, first of all, getting resources in front of our employee base so they can have self-awareness. Our communication director has sent out initially, just beyond how we're going to work, it's more what to expect or things you can do to protect yourself, all the things that are going on across the world that are helping people process, first of all, what's happening, and second of all, how to make sure that they remain safe as they're best practices, trying to implement best practices to do that. Our leadership's been consistent with that. I'm very happy they have availed themselves to everyone and make that known in every meeting that we have, and especially our town halls where we have such a large number of employees on one Zoom meeting, to know that we're here whenever you need us. That's first and foremost. The word anxiety has come up. The word mindfulness has come up. The my hashtag now, hashtag leave the desk has come up. That it's all those things that we get it. You're going through stuff that you've not gone through before, and being forced into, as I said today, that they're they're having to dive into the pool of vulnerability. And because what this is, I have to do the same work I've done perhaps my whole career, and now I'm doing it in a different way. And I have to be vulnerable enough to say, holy cow, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or I need some help trying to figure out this whole Zoom thing, or whatever it is. That is vulnerability, and we have to have our folks realize first that it's okay for them to admit that they don't know something or they need some help. And that can help reduce their anxiety and stress around these pieces, knowing that we're all in this together and everyone's here to help. And that's been the resounding message as we're going through this from our leadership, is that we're with you, we're for you. You mentioned the concerns for what's going to happen with my job. That's certainly there. And I think it's not just at Populous, it's everywhere. And they've done a nice job of reassuring people that they have built this practice in a way where they learned a lot of lessons along, the 35 years that Populous has been in existence, and really the last 10 that they've been Populous. Nonetheless, through all that time, they have learned a lot, and they've modified along the way to try and minimize the impact should something like this happen. So all those are very positive messages that consistently come to all of us through the communication stream. And that to me is very important. The last thing I'll say, Ken, is that it's the transparency, the level of transparency. If they don't know something, they're mentioning that they don't know it. If they know a little bit, they're mentioning that this is what we know to be true at this point. However, it could change. And that's, to me, that's gold, because we don't have everyone in the same place right now to have the true water cooler talk. But that will certainly happen, or it can happen, in a virtual environment. And these practices, or this open sharing and being transparent, is helping minimize that. And people can focus more, and because their anxiety is reduced, the stress is not there in the what ifs. And our folks are highly creative, they're highly intelligent, and they're visual, and all those things.
Yep.
We know that anxiety and stress are the pillars of creativity and innovation. I'm happy to see that this fluidity in communication and transparency is there, and it's helping safeguard what our people and what they want to do.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's encouraging to hear that your leadership is engaged at that level and recognizing that people are dealing with, that anxiety, and that you're there for them. That seems to be a common theme.
I appreciate you and this, and that you're getting this message out for everyone who watches this. Is just, stay safe, be strong, and protect yourselves, and care for each other. Be kind.
That's a great message. Thank you so much for taking the time. I sure appreciate it.
Welcome. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye.